Hello everyone, happy Wednesday, full moon day, and boy, am I feeling it. Can you feel it? I mean, it's like a messy hair, clean the house, feel the rage for every thing that's ever happened to you in your entire world, moment, day, time. Welcome. You are welcome here. I'm welcome here too. You know, it's so hard because when I wake up and my feelings feel really complex, it's hard for me to see the forest for the trees. It's hard for me to wake up and understand, hey, the astrology is a little harsh this week. It's a little touchy. It's a little angry. It's a little something this week, okay? And here's why. It's because it is a full moon in Gemini. This is the kind of full moon that full moons got their stereotype from, because a full moon in Gemini can literally be anything. It's squirrely, it's energetic, it's mercurial. It is also happening to be right next to Mars, which is retrograde right now in Gemini. So it's like, ooh, let's throw in some anger and some ways in which we aren't being seen and, things that we're angry about that maybe we didn't feel like we had a right to, or we didn't even know we were. And all of a sudden this week, you're like, oh, I'm kind of fucking fiery today. I'm definitely feeling that. And I wasn't leading up to it. I went to bed really early last night, 8:30, like a child is when I went to bed. And so well rested and ever present for the feelings that are bubbling up inside my body. And so just take a moment and feel this energy and feel what's bubbling up for you. What's on the roster for you today? Maybe it's divine passion, and that's great. Those of us that have a better relationship with our Mars energy, maybe we'll take this cycle as like a retrospective. Where did I show up for myself, this year? Where didn't I? Where do I need to show up for myself? Because this is the segue. It's about accountability. Yes, anger. Yes to everything you're feeling. Yes to greasy hair, don't care kind of mentality. Yes, yes, yes. And taking accountability for where you're at in your life dharma. I'm kind of on the low scale right now. I'm kind of at the bottom of my dharma in this moment. And so I'm mad and I'm messy and I don't want to do anything, and yet my house is full of dishes and I have to. And it makes me angry and resentful and whatever, put in Mars energy word here. So I use this full moon to be angry and to do the dishes angry. Side note, I always do the dishes angry. For some reason, the dishes awaken the Hulk inside of me. So anytime I have to do the dishes, the kids stay clear of me because I'm not in the best mood when I'm doing it. And I'm usually thinking kind of vicious thoughts. And I think it's really important to understand that no matter how nice a person you are, no matter how giving you are, no matter how, spiritual you are, that anger and presence of bitchy behavior exists in all of us. None of us get saved from the moments where we're really feeling it. And to allow yourself that day, mine's today, I guess, and for the full moon, with being next to Mars retrograde, it is a good day to really feel into these stronger feelings that you have, to understand them better, not to judge yourself, not to, try to make it go away or heal it or any of that stuff, just to sit with it and let it be present. And then maybe tomorrow, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, taking righteous accountability for how it is you are where you are right now. Good, bad, ugly. We all get ourselves here. We take our own trains, we take our own buses, we take our own feet, and we walk ourselves in to the situations that we are in. Now you say, what about things that just happen to you and they're not your fault? True story. That's true. Bad things are going to happen to you and they're not your fault. But how you react and how you're working through it and how you're showing up for yourself is your fault, And so that's kind of the energy that you can use this full moon to, instead of just feeling mad with nowhere to go, feel mad with a purpose. Go on a walk, do the stupid dishes, or think about how it is you got to the place you're in right now and how you want to get out of it. How do you want to be going into the holiday season, okay? Because I kind of dig that this energy is coming up right before holidays. It's like, let's not just, cross our fingers and pray that this kind of energy isn't going to come up at the holidays. Allow this really strong energy to come in, because the cool thing about Gemini, the thing that I really like about Gemini is it moves. You can move the energy. You can say, I don't like here. I don't want to be here. And you can go somewhere else, but sometimes it takes these explosions. Sometimes it takes crankiness. Sometimes it takes road rage. Don't recommend, but no, it happens. Sometimes it takes like a burst of something that doesn't feel good to lead to a place of something that does feel good. We can't escape ourselves. And that's the problem, I think, with this full moon is like, here we are, folks, however you're feeling is how you're going to feel. And you can't escape it. You can't sleep through it. I tried. And you can't completely negate the fact that the energy right now wants you to get in touch with what is righteous inside of you. Maybe it's not anger. Maybe it's just energy. And how does that feel as the weather's starting to get darker, as the season is shifting into a very retrospective place? To me, this is like that final hurrah of like, what do you want to put out there? Like, even if it's anger, even if it's this feeling that feels really intense, I say good. Like, that means you're feeling, that means you're opening, that means things are coming to the surface that need to get worked through. And rather than being petty in your anger, be accountable in your anger. Allow the anger to be there and then be like, what role did I play in my anger right now? Or what role did I play in where I'm sitting right now? And then try to find some perspective. I will try to do that when I'm doing the dishes, I promise. I will try to find this perspective of how did I get myself into the situations that are making me feel the way I'm feeling. Fill in feeling and situation as it suits you. No matter what, the holidays can be hard. The holidays can be magical, but there's also always a lot of pressure, a lot going on, a lot of feelings, a lot of different vibes going on around you. And it's really important to at least understand what's going on with your vibe, so that then when you're clashing with other vibes, you're kind of getting where you're coming from. Because if you don't even get where you're coming from, you're going to collide into people. And the thing about Gemini too is Gemini rules communication. So you're also going to maybe say things that are totally unnecessary. Okay, like not nice things. Or you're just going to snip, or just be like, ugh, or like an eye roll. That's my son's favorite. Or, and that could set the other person off. It's like, it's kind of walking around a little minefield because you don't really know how anybody else is doing with this full moon. Sleeplessness can happen. For me, it was like overtiredness. And now I know tonight I'm going to be super sleepless because I can just feel all of the energy brewing. And then, so we go through this kind of hard week where there's a little bit of tension. And listen, it's not like life-changing tension. It's just, damn it, tension. I always could tell like where my mom was at in her anger between the level of the cuss word that she would use, right? So if we're like at a shit ski, she's like, you're looking out for us, she knows that we're around and she doesn't want us to hear the cuss word. But if my mom would elevate to a God damn it, like I knew like stuff was getting real. So like know your partners and your friends and your brothers and sisters and everybody's cues. Know when someone is kind of reaching a boiling point and see how that's reflected onto you and how it's making you feel. What I love too about Gemini energy is like curiosity. Get curious about the whys of not just yourself, but everybody else. When people get tense, like you're around the family dinner table and one person gets tense and then another person gets tense and it's kind of like a domino effect. It's like, can you pinpoint the moment, the decisive moment where it went left? And can you see, how each individual person is working with their own bag of tricks, their own, filters, their own things that set them off? We don't know what truly sets each other off all the time because it's totally an intimate thing, our triggers. It's intimate. And now the people that are intimate with us can have a notion. They can have an idea of what our triggers are, but until they test it out, they're not going to know 100%. I mean, unless someone tells me to calm down. That's 100% forever, always my trigger. And if you say it and you use it, I will freak out. But aside from that, I'm sure I have all kinds of triggers that I don't even know I have. So it's kind of one of those weeks where people can just feel a little snotty or not feel like going the extra mile for each other or not opening doors for each other. So be the debutante and open the doors and make eye contact and get curious about other people's triggers, because what you start to notice about other people's triggers is that it can be a really beautiful mirror into your own triggers without having to be triggered yourself. If you can take a minute and watch someone having a moment and understand that that's their moment, you don't have to participate in it, you don't have to feel anything in it, and you don't have to react to it. That's really powerful. That is righteous accountability, to understand that we can reflect ourselves through other people's triggers without getting triggered ourselves. And do you know what that creates? It creates compassion. And that's a beautiful thing, because then at the end of the week, Venus is going to square Jupiter. And now a square can be challenging, but I find anything that works with Jupiter a really positive thing. So you have Venus, our love planet, wanting to participate with Jupiter. Whether it's hard or not, it's like, whether you want to or not, you can go get an ice cream cone and chill out. You can. I give you permission. This weekend's a great weekend to do it. And you can take away the barrier of your anger, of your resentments, of your triggers, and come across the table and connect. Because really, it's an opportunity after we've had our triggering, after we've had this righteous anger, after we've had thoughts. Maybe it's just thoughts. Maybe you aren't a triggery person and you don't blow up. But this week, we're going to be thinking things. Like a lot of things that could be triggering, things that could be painful, or could make us feel deeper, more intense feelings, if you don't like the word anger. Intensity, how about that? We could be having lots of thoughts or dreams or things that are making us feel a little bit stressed out. And this weekend, that square is a really beautiful opportunity to work with the things we've been working with this week, the things that came up this week, the ways in which we're feeling neglected or resentful or whatever. You can take those things and you can transmute them into something else, into something that really teaches you something about yourself and the way you're connecting to other people. And then bring it on home, because Jupiter wants that. Jupiter squaring Venus wants us to find the solution to connection. So how can you do that? How can you be your own best friend and be a best friend? How can you do those things at the same time and then really show up for a connection this weekend? Because there'll be beautiful, great rewards, Also, there's so many things shifting now. Neptune went direct last week, and that's so great because now it's like we can make our dreams come true if we're really focusing and manifesting. That is a beautiful thing. That's good astrology. Venus and that whole cluster of everything conjunct is starting to move into Capricorn, which is like good work. Capricorn rules the house of work. And Capricorn is earth medicine, and it's practical, and it uses the body, and it uses forward momentum in a non-emotional way. So with Venus moving into Capricorn, it's this really beautiful opportunity to put the work in. And this beautiful Venus square Jupiter business is the last hurrah of the Sagittarian energy there to then start the good work that can be done on our relationships this season. There's just that really funny stereotype that the holidays are always really stressful and it brings up all of these stressful things with family. And that's true, but think about it, okay? Because we're in Sagittarian season where it's communicative and it's ideas and it's beliefs and it's religion and it's this, that, and the other. And then for Christmas, we move into Capricorn, which is very hardworking, which is very practical, which is nuts and bolts, to our lives astrology. So it would make sense that sometimes family wounds, family trauma, the way in which we're relating can be up for review because we have the fortitude and the strength and the non-emotionality to be able to work through it, depending on where the moon is too. So I see this time as an incredibly focused time to be curious, to pay attention, to try to understand yourself a little bit better so that you aren't being as triggered as maybe the people around you. And then once you de-escalate, it's a real trip to watch other people real turn. You know, I think that's what the whole hype with reality TV is in the first place, is watching the trigger. Watching the person get extremely upset in a real way is a very interesting thing, right? Murder documentaries, the crime of passion. We're all interested in what makes a person do what they do. It's just oftentimes in our day-to-day reality, you know, it's harder to see. It's like Survivor when someone's making a bad decision and you're like, ugh, they're being so dumb. Why would they do that? And it's like, well, you can see it because you're watching it from the outside. But they can't see it because they're in the middle, first, of a lot of psychological starvation and trauma, all of that kind of stuff. But also, it's like a beautiful witnessing. And if we could do that, not just with reality TV, but with reality, imagine how interesting life would become if you weren't attached to the outcome of your life. Big news, really hard to do. Still working on it forever for the rest of my life. But I do understand that if I can let go of my attachment to things being a certain way, which is also control, if I can let go a little bit of thinking that I'm in control of everything, then I can get more curious about the why something isn't working, or the why this person in my life isn't relating, or why things are the way they are. And then you start seeing people getting frustrated at a checkout stand, and rather than looking at your watch and just wanting to get it over with and wanting to get to your car, you can be like, gosh, I wonder what led this person to get to a place where they're extremely frustrated in a grocery store. You know, that's big news. And so the card I just pulled is the Three of Rods. And to me, I love this card because it's that ability and capability to take the knowledge you have at your back, the things you already have, and be able to look out at what's coming, you know, without attachment or control or need. It's just, it is what it is. And life is coming towards you and things are coming for you. And whatever you believe in, fate or destiny or none of that, and everything is random, things are still going to come. Things are still coming, whether they're predetermined or not. Life is going to come at you. Here are the boats. They're coming. What boat do you want to get on? What road do you want to take? What wand of knowledge are you personally, just you, gonna participate in, learn from, take with? What are you gonna leave behind and what are you gonna take with you? What are the tools that you have? You know, I really see this as a card of redemption, a card of optimism, a card of here are the clouds and the sun is peeking through, right? It's like on a cloudy day, the sun is still there. There's just clouds blocking it. Same with our emotions. On a dark night of the soul, we can only have those because we know the light's going to come back. And it's almost like when you're having a panic attack, right? You can't see it. You can't see the light because you're so present in the moment. Labor, right? Contractions, pain. It's almost like there was never a world in which that didn't exist and won't always exist. And then it goes away. What a phenomenal thing it is to be in this human body, to be in this human spirit, to be feeling so dark and then to feel so light, like how lucky we are. And if we can let go, if we can trust that whatever ships are coming to us, we get to choose how we approach the ship, where we go on the ship, and how we participate in the direction of the ship, right? We are our own ship and we get to choose the direction we're going in. We don't always get to choose the weather. Okay, take it from me. I am not really in a great emotional space. Things are hard right now. Things are sticky. I'm in a grieving process and I don't have consistency of heart right now. And so the trust, right? The trust that I'm building my own wands. I have my tools. And now it's just, where's it going to take me? And am I going to be willing to be taken there? Sometimes it's just about saying yes, whether you want to or not. It's just about being like, I am righteously here in this world today. I am here. And whether it's a good day or a bad day or there are storm clouds or whatever, trusting that there's light on the other side because we are made of light and water and we are made to move. And until we're willing to move, these transits are going to feel really hard. These full moons next to Mars, where there's anger and resentment and doubt and all of the things that make us cranky and lit and super triggered, are going to be there, and they're going to be giving us information, and we get to choose if we want to listen to the information or if we just want to ride the merry-go-round. Some of us do, some of us, really live within our own selves and have a hard time, stepping outside and seeing it from other people's perspectives or seeing it from a solution-based place. And I bow to you too. Sometimes we're just not ready for a solution, and so we're going to toil. I always tell, Mars, Venus, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Women want to talk about their problems, men want to solve their problems. I think that's all a bunch of baloney. I think we all want to do all of that all the time. We just aren't always resourced in one way or the other. And for me, I need to toil. I need to panic. I need to be like, this is awful. I need to use big girl statements. I need to really go big. And then I chill out and I allow the solution to come. And that's my process. And I know that's my process. But not everybody around me knows that. So when I'm like, it's all fucked, it's like everything is horrible. Someone that doesn't use that kind of language is going to think I actually mean it's all horrible when I don't. So take some accountability for those things. Take accountability for the way that you react to harder or reactive times and get curious. Curiosity is the best teacher, because then you can take what you learn from this curiosity and go into Capricorn season and do some work. And that's really, even though it's internal work during winter, it's hibernation. It can be productive hibernation where we're really rebuilding something that is sacred and private to us. And in the end, we can be a better version of us to give to the world later on when it's spring, summer party time. So that's my advice this week. I hope that whatever comes up for you is workable, manageable, and maybe just a little cranky, because that's okay too.